Thanks for staying with us. And Bill O'Reilly in the Impact segment tonight. Our first conversation with Senator Barack Obama. It's been a long time coming, as you know, but this afternoon I met with the senator in York, Pennsylvania. Now, we're going to play you the first part of the interview right now, and the rest of it, which is fairly extensive and provocative, will be seen next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Roll the tape. Well, first of all, thanks for being a man of your word.
You bet.
But I was worried there for a while. It's been 9 months since we last met in New Hampshire.
It took a little while. I've had a few things to do in between. Yeah, but I appreciate you having me on the show.
Okay. Let's start with national security. Do you believe we're in the middle of a war on terror?
Absolutely.
Who's the enemy?
Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, a whole host of networks that are bent on attacking America, who have a distorted ideology, who have perverted the faith of Islam. And so we have to go after them.
Is Iran part of that component?
Iran is a major threat. Now, I don't think that there is the same, they are not part of the same network. You've got Shia and you've got Sunni. We've got to have the ability to distinguish between these groups because, for example, the war in Iraq is a good example, where I believe the administration lumped together Saddam Hussein, a terrible guy, with Al-Qaeda, which had nothing to do with Saddam Hussein.
We'll get to that.
And as a consequence, we ended up, I think, misdirecting our resources. So they're all part of various terrorist networks that we have to shut down and we have to destroy, but they may not all be part and parcel of the same ideology.
But I still don't understand, and I'm asking this as an American as well as a journalist, how threatening you feel Iran is. See, look, if Iran gets a nuclear weapon, okay? Mm-hmm. To me, they're going to give it to Hezbollah if they can develop the technology. Why not? And then they say, we don't have anything to do with it. Yeah. So, therefore, the next president of the United States is going to have to make a decision about Iran, whether to stop them militarily, because I don't believe if diplomacy works, fine, but you've got to have a plan B. And a lot of people are saying, look, Barack Obama's not going to attack Iran.
Well, here's where you and I agree. It is unacceptable for Iran to possess a nuclear weapon. It would be a game changer. And I've said that repeatedly. I've also said I would never take a military option off the table.
But would you prepare for one?
Well, listen.
That's the question, though, Senator. No, anybody can say option. Would you prepare for it?
Look, it is not appropriate for somebody who is one of two people who could be the President of the United States to start tipping their hand in terms of what their plans might be with respect to Iran. It's sufficient to say I would not take the military option off the table and that I will never hesitate to use our military force in order to protect the homeland and United States interests. But where I disagree with you is the notion that we've exhausted every other resource. Because the fact of the matter is that for 6-7 years during this administration, we weren't working as closely as we needed to with the Europeans to create
diplomacy might work. You might be able to strangle them economically.
Sanctions, maybe.
But that's all hypothetical.
But everything is hypothetical. But the question is, are we trying to do what we need to do to ratchet up the pressure on them, to change their...
Okay, we'll assume that you're going to ratchet everything you can ratchet. Right. But I'm going to assume that Iran's going to say, blank you, we're going to do what we want. And I want a president, whether it's you or McCain, who says, you ain't doing that. All right, let's go to Iraq. I think history will show it's the wrong battlefield, okay? And I think that you were perspicacious in your original assessment of the battlefield.
I appreciate that.
I think you were desperately wrong on the surge, and I think you should admit it to the nation that now we have defeated the terrorists in Iraq, and the Al-Qaeda came there after we invaded, as you know.
Right.
Okay? We've defeated them.
Right.
If we didn't, they would have used it as a staging ground. We've also inhibited Iran from controlling the southern part of Iraq by the surge, which you did not support. So why won't you say, I was right in the beginning, I was wrong about that?
You know, if you listen to what I've said, and I'll repeat it right here on this show, I think that there's no doubt that the violence is down. I believe that that is a testimony to the troops that were sent and General Petraeus and Ambassador Crocker. I think that the surge has succeeded in ways that nobody anticipated, by the way, including President Bush and the other supporters. It has gone very well, partly because of the Anbar situation and the Sunni awakening, partly because the Shia
wouldn't have been a surge.
Well, look.
No. If it were up to you, there wouldn't have been a surge.
No.
You and Joe Biden, no surge.
Hold on a second, Bill. If you look at the debate that was taking place, we had gone through 5 years of mismanagement of this war that I thought was disastrous. And the president wanted to double down and continue on an open-ended policy that did not create the kinds of pressure on the Iraqis to take responsibility and reconcile. Well, look, Bill, what I've said is, I've already said it succeeded beyond our wildest dreams.
So why
which
can't
is
you
great.
just say I was right in the beginning and I was wrong about the surge?
Because there is an underlying problem with what we've done. We have reduced the violence.
Yeah.
But the Iraqis still haven't taken responsibility. And we still don't have the kind of political reconciliation. We are still spending, Bill, $10 to $12 billion a month.
And I hope if you're president, you can get them to kick in and pay us back.
They've got $79 billion
and I'm with
in
you
New York.
I'll go with you.
Let's go.
We'll get some of that money back. All right, let's go to Afghanistan. Look, there's no win in the Taliban war unless Pakistan cracks down on the guys that are in Pakistan.
You and I
okay? Yeah, we all know that.
Right.
You give a speech in Denver. Good speech, by the way.
Thank you.
But you bloviated about McCain not following him to the cave. You're not going to invade Pakistan, Senator, if you're president. You're not going to send ground troops in there. You know it.
Here's the problem. John McCain loves to say, I would follow him to the gates of hell.
Well, he's not going to invade either.
Well, and the point is, what we could have done is stay focused.
Let's stay now.
What we can do is stay focused on Afghanistan and put more pressure on the Pakistanis.
Like what?
Well, for example, we are providing them military aid without having enough strings attached. So they're using the military aid that we use
for nothing
to Pakistan. They're preparing for war against India.
So you're going to pull in and let the Islamic fundamentalists take them over?
No. What we say is, look, we're going to provide them with additional military support targeted at terrorists, and we're going to help build their democracy and provide the kinds of funding.
Now. Come on, Negroponte's over there, and he's doing that now.
That's not what we've been doing, Bill. We wasted $10 billion with Musharraf without holding him accountable for knocking out those safe havens.
So you are going to, again, more diplomacy, and we need it, absolutely, try to convince the Pakistani government to take a more aggressive approach. By saying, if you don't, we're going to pull the funding.
And what I will do is, if we have bin Laden in our sights, we target him and we knock him out.
But everybody will do that.
Well,
I mean, that would be the biggest win Bush could have if
of course.
do that. But you can't send ground troops in because all hell breaks loose.
We can't have, and nobody talked about some full-blown invasion of Pakistan. The simple point that I made was we've got to put more pressure on Pakistan to do what they need to do.
All right. Again, the rest of the interview will be seen on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week, and it is lively.